that the board had some concerns about. We do feel that the parking realignment is going to be a big improvement for the property. As I mentioned before, we could condition any tenants in the back building or rear building to no more than one car, if that's something the board feels is important and necessary. The only thing, I was just looking back through my notes, and I thought that this had been added to the plan, but I don't see it, is the centralized trash location that you had asked about. So I just talked with Mr. Grosser, and we can put that here in this location here, and we can file a plan that makes that if you like.
Okay.
So with the parking as it is and the additional paving, you will have an improvement to the situation of the cars backing directly out onto Spring Bars Road, because now they'll be able to back into that additional driveway area and then go out forward onto Spring Bars, which should be a big improvement there. So hopefully that's covered everything.
Ken just came in
Right.
at this moment, and I know you didn't add anything that hadn't been necessarily here, but I'll leave it up to you. If you don't want Ken to sit on this one, we can operate as a four-member board. I'll just leave it up to you.
No, I'd like Mr. Foreman to sit on the board.
Oh, all right.
I'm sure you've reviewed the file, and I'll just briefly summarize.
Right. It was. That's why I asked, because I didn't think there was anything so substantial that you mentioned that we didn't know already.
Everything's in the file.
Laura just basically summarized the changes that were made in the plan, the parking, the unit change, and
the drainage improvements.
The drainage improvements and the vent for the septic system. All right, thanks, Laura. Let's see if there's anything new in the file, and then we'll see if the board has any questions.
The only thing that's new is the letter from Jack Lander's colleague that Laura spoke of, and he's recommending repairing the existing gutter system of both buildings by adding gutters where they do not exist, connecting all gutters to downspouts where they direct to dry wells, adding 2 dry wells with stone as shown on the plan, and providing a landscape grate to the dry well closest to the road that is capable of supporting H20 loading. And by making these improvements, it's his opinion that additional parking spaces and pavement will not increase surface water flow.
Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. David, any questions for Laura based on the new information?
No questions from me.
Thank you. Scott?
Laura, the new garbage, the area that you just pointed out for the new, where they're going to house the garbage,
Yeah.
is that going to be a dumpster?
No, I believe it will be barrels. Yeah.
And then they'll be dragged out to the street on
Correct.
garbage day. So there's no garbage truck access going into that
No,
area.
no.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks, Laura.
Tricia?
Laura, the only question I have, were you going to add a bike rack, or am I missing it?
Well, we could add a bike rack, but now, and if you could just
Yeah,
give me-
that's fine.
Oh, I just wanted to confirm, the tenants that had bicycles would have access to the storage area and the shed,
Okay,
which is where they
perfect.
keep bikes now. So
Okay.
that's, we didn't include it on the plan.
Thank you.
Ken? No. Okay. And I have no questions either. Suri, any questions or updates?
No.
All right. Is there anyone here, I don't recognize anyone that was here the last time of the hearing, anyone that has anything additional on this particular project? Okay. If not, does the board have enough information at this point to take action?
Yes.
All right, then a motion to close this hearing would be in order.
Motion to close.
Second.
All right, all those in favor of closing this hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a unanimous vote. All right, action.
I'll make a motion to grant application 6-12 for Spring Bars LLC.
Second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Conditions, and then we'll go to findings.
Per plans site plan and architectural drawings submitted April 6, 2012.
Including the conditions addressed by Jack Landis' colleague in his correspondence.
Yep,
Okay.
and also including the trash location.
Now, there had been discussed before, I just wanted, and it was even mentioned right now, about any needed restriction on the number of vehicles for the back units, or the back dwellings in the back building. The dwellings in the back building. Actually, this time it was revised slightly to saying just the dwelling units in the back, which are the single bedrooms.
Well, if you don't limit them to one car, you're not going to have enough parking on site.
And I guess my reaction is it's probably going to be an unenforceable situation.
I agree.
Anyway.
Yeah. And whether you think, I mean, I say my reaction, this is still an improvement to the site. It's a big improvement. We're not forcing people onto Spring Bars Road. Right now, there's no restrictions whatsoever. This is an improved parking, it'll be lined, et cetera. I don't know. I'm not hung up on doing the restrictions.
So if we didn't make,
Left up to the owner. You can make a finding
could
that
do
that
that.
would be left up to the owner.
Yeah.
but if it's not an enforceable situation, now we're saying, well, it's not enforceable, so we won't make it a condition,
Yeah.
so let's do that for everything.
I'm just throwing that out. Yeah,
I agree with Tricia.
Come on. Just because
I
it's
mean,
not
you know,
enforceable,
As
nothing.
with all enforcement, it's complaint-driven, right?
Right.
So if we have a condition and then people object, you know, perhaps other tenants are finding it too congested, they can complain. And,
Because you start adding cars there, and then lo and behold, nobody's driving out of that parking lot. They're backing out because they can't get out any other way.
It's going to be lined,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Didn't say that.
Right, it's showing lined on the plan, but you add
They
another,
have to show so many spaces, and they have to be the 9 by 18. That's one question that the board did not ask the tenant, the owner. If it's going to be lined,
Actually, we didn't, but the plan shows that it is.
I'm adding a condition that there's one car per unit for the rear building. If you don't want it, then you can say so.
Well, as we've done before, when there might be a little bit of a disagreement, we'll find out how people feel before we lose the entire vote over a
That's fine.
condition. I gather you want the condition.
Yeah.
Trish wants the condition. Scott?
While you'd like to see it be a perfect solution to it, it's still gonna be up in the air. Who's gonna enforce that? I mean, I understand that, but it goes right along the same lines as us telling people no cooking or no sleeping, and you can't go in their house, and you can't leave somebody there. You can condition it, but you can't leave somebody there on patrol to say, you gotta leave it up to the applicant. You know what I mean? This is the decision we made.
But if you start getting to a complaint from anybody else that's there, you have no legs to stand on because you didn't condition it.
Who would be getting the complaint? Us?
Yes.
All right. Perhaps we can make it easier. The applicant has already said in the rear building, those units, they're willing to restrict it. So I suppose we don't need to debate it then. I raised the issue just to see where the board would go, but there is a little bit of a dissension here. They've agreed to that condition.
I don't think it's dissension. I mean, they both have a very valid point, and we go right back again to enforcement. You know what, we enforce things, and if we knew that it would be enforced, then the vote would be easier. Because
well, I hate
we
to see
then we
you
would
not
condition it.
vote for conditions because you feel that they can't be enforced. I mean, you know, cooking facilities, all that stuff, it's, as you point out, I don't think we should stop imposing those conditions just because we can't be certain that they're perfectly enforced.
Yeah.
If
I
there's a
agree.
real issue.
This is exterior, most of that's interior, which is very hard to enforce. But as some people have done in the past, they drive by it occasionally and let me know. I then turn it over to the zoning enforcement agent, that they look into it. So something exterior is a lot more enforceable, if you will, than the interior.
So, Scott, just so I can, did you want the condition or not want the condition?
I guess to be honest, I'm on the fence with it. I see their point.
Yeah.
But again, when you have to vote it, if it's not enforced, it feels like there's nothing that can be done about it. If I was assured that there'd be something to be done, then you could condition it, in my opinion.
Again, I don't think, we've put a lot of effort into this already. I'm going to tell you that I'll vote for the condition at this point because the applicant has done it, so that we've got a majority that will go for the conditions, because I think we need to move this along, and the applicant has said that as well. So, if it creates a hardship later on, we can always come back and modify it. All right, so we've got her plans, Jack Landers, Colley's, the trash, this condition of, and it was just the rear building with
Yeah,
those units.
just the rear building.
And there have been the question about the bike racks, but that was answered,
That
so
was
I don't
answered.
think we need that. There had been a discussion previously about signage, about not backing out onto Spring Bars Road, but in many ways, I think that's been addressed by the angling of that. And I guess if you want to make it really clear, as Suri had said, do you want, it is paved, so it's not really a hardship, lines delineating where the parking is right now, where they proposed it.
Yeah.
And I think that
Yeah,
makes
I
sense.
think
That makes perfect
yeah.
sense.
Okay. I would also assume that we would probably put down, because per plans, the maximum number of dwellings on this property will be 4, and the maximum number of bedrooms will be 6. All right, everyone happy with those conditions? All right, I think in many ways the findings relate to our performance standards, because there's an improvement to the drainage based on the redesign. Although there is an extension of the nonconformity use, it's not substantially more detrimental. There are no new structural nonconformities, improved parking situation, and our typical 216 conditions.
And it'll be an improvement to the site, the whole
Right.
site, including the dwellings.
Did I go too fast? Okay. All right. With that, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Unanimous vote. Thank you very much. Howard, thank you. Laura, thank you very much. Good luck on that project. Okay. Our next application is for Raymond Oliver Jr. at 367 Pinecrest Beach Drive. And the members that are here will be the voting members, and I'll ask the clerk to read it into the record.
Application 17-12, being all persons deemed affected by the Board of Appeals under Section 11 of Chapter 48 of the Massachusetts General Laws, you are hereby notified that Raymond Oliver Jr. of East Falmouth, Mass. applied to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a special permit pursuant to Sections 240-38I of the Code of Falmouth to continue use of the existing accessory apartment located at 367 Pinecrest Beach Drive, East Falmouth, Mass. Publication dates March 20th and March 27th, 2012.
Okay, Mr. Oliver, it's your turn. Welcome. And just, if you wouldn't mind, just briefly describe what you're trying to accomplish. And as you saw, we'll then probably ask you some questions.
Hi, Raymond Oliver. We built this apartment in the early 90s for my parents, and we're just trying to make it legal so that we can rent it now, and that's about it. You know, everything's been brought up to code. We've had all the new smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, everything done in it, and that's basically it. You know, we've had it, like I said, when my parents got elderly, you know, they had health issues, so we built that so they'll be close, and just want to be able to rent it out now, just do it legally.
Okay, thanks. We're going to listen to see what the other departments have to say, if there's any correspondence, and relax for a minute, then we'll
Okay,
ask you
yeah.
some questions. All right, thanks, Mr. Oliver.
Building has no comment. Engineering has no comment. Natural Resources has no comment. Planning has no comment, and I will read the Board of Health. They had a comment, but they did an update on it, so I'll just read the update to it. Subject property is in a Zone 2 area of groundwater protection and is limited to 1 bedroom for each 10,000 square feet of lot area. This lot has more than 60,000 square feet and is able to support 6 bedrooms accordingly. The applicant seeks approval for a 5th bedroom. The property has 2 functioning septic systems, a system which was recently upgraded for the house and is adequate for 4 bedrooms, and a separate system for the large garage apartment that has capacity for more than 1 bedroom. After re-examination of the file from this property, the Health Department now has no questions or concerns in conjunction with this appeal. And that's all there is, other than the worksheet for the accessory apartment.
All right, so Mr. Oliver, we'll ask you a couple of questions, all right? Scott, do you want to start?
Can I reserve
Sure,
my
absolutely.
question? I just want to look at something.
Not a problem.
Thank
David?
How are you, Mr. Oliver?
Good, how are you?
Fine, thanks. In that apartment that you said your parents were living in,
Yeah?
how do you access that from the main house? Is there a door there, or is that open?
No, there's I got a picture of the hallway, the second access, if you'd like to see it. Okay. You can approach it from the study, but there's a door, a fire stop door there.
Mr. Oliver, you hand it over here. Okay, that's all right, thanks.
Okay, well, I just gotta kind of-
Are they else?
Well, they're kind of different, so could I?
Well, why don't you sort of hold it up there, show us, and then you can give it to us, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, they're just different pictures showing from the apartment into the hallway, from the hallway out of the apartment, the 2 different doorways. It'd be a lot simpler if I could point it out to you, but I'll do whatever you want.
The trouble is you're on television, so in order for you to
okay.
be heard and seen, you've got to be
Okay.
there, okay?
Okay.
Is
So-
that,
Yeah, it's 5/8 sheet rock coated, it's a hallway, it's locked up. They have complete access out of that doorway, and there's another doorway into a study there. That's a fire door, that's locked. But they have 2 accesses, and that's a separate hallway out of that, to that separate access. Did that
Yeah.
answer your question?
yeah,
Okay.
is that something new, that door, or has that always been there?
No, that's something new that's been done, that's something,
Okay,
for this project.
no, I'm all,
All right, why don't you hand those to us, and
Yeah, sure.
we can take a look at them, okay? We need, stamp them into the record,
Okay, sure.
and some procedural requirements we have, okay? Anything else, David?
no, thanks.
Okay. You good?
I can ask a question.
See, I told you, that's our TV people. They're right on top of us.
Okay, all right.
All right, Ken?
So you live in the main dwelling
I do, yeah.
year-round?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's
yeah.
my question.
Tricia?
2 means of egresses on this, Ray, one from the house and one from outside.
Yes, there's
Okay.
2, there's the 2 sliders there, that's one, and then, actually, there's a picture of the other one there, too, that you have in
Where it
front
says
of you.
exit on the picture?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I think on the plans, I also marked them, both of 1 and
Okay.
2 exits there.
Yeah, all right. Designated parking for the apartment is going to be in this little carved-out area to the
Yes,
front of
yeah,
the
yeah,
house?
yeah, there's more than ample parking for trailer
Okay.
trucks. I mean, this,
And how many square feet are in the apartment?
you know, I
Six-
could, you
about
got it in front of you.
603?
Yeah, whatever the math is.
All right, you did the math on
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So it's 603, all right. And the basement of the house, is that just storage or is that finished space?
No, that's just storage.
It's just
I mean,
storage?
we've got a play area down,
Yeah.
pool table, that kind of stuff.
Okay, all right. Are you gonna rent the apartment as an affordable unit
Whatever I need to do, whatever I need to do
to make
to
it
make
as?
it work, yeah. I guess I have to, there's a certain perimeter that you have to stay within, so
Right.
whatever,
And you're okay with the deed restriction,
what's,
a deed restriction if we limited it to an affordable unit?
well, I mean, if I don't have to have that, that's,
You
I
do.
would,
You do.
well, then, yes, I am.
Okay.
Then
I just wanted to make sure you're
acceptable to-
okay with that.
Yeah, sure, yeah, whatever,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, okay, that's all I have.
Scott?
How you doing?
Good,
I understand that there's a home-based business there as well.
that's correct.
Is that,
Occupation.
home occupation, I'm sorry.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, let's try to get at, if we could, what is going on so we can classify
Well,
it properly. okay?
that leads me into my question. What exactly is it?
Okay, that's my, that's my part-time job. I'm a full-time, I work for the Steamship Authority as a captain, that's my full-time job. This is my hobby. This is my fishing, my golf. I purchase like equipment, I fix them up and I sell them. And I do some tune-ups of small engine, like lawnmowers, sweepers, power washers, that kind of thing.
And you do that directly under this apartment that you're gonna rent?
Right.
There, no concerns about fumes, or is there any special venting for this apartment, being that you do small engine repair directly under it?
I don't run the engines inside the shop. And all my gasoline is stored outside. I have 5 gallons of gasoline there. It was a small operation. This isn't a big operation here, you know? I don't run things inside of a building.
Okay.
It's.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Mr. Oliver, if I could follow up on that just a bit. Do you have any employees working for you? What is it, AAA?
Yeah.
Repair?
No.
No other employees at all?
No, just.
When I went out to the site visit, there looked like there was a vent for a wood-burning stove.
No, that's a garage furnace
Okay.
in there. Yeah,
Okay,
and
wasn't
that's
sure.
all been, that's all
Yep.
approved, that's all
Nope.
been, that's all been inspected, and it's a propane furnace.
Okay. So, and again, the only reason the home occupation, it sounds like it's a home occupation, not a home-based service business, comes up is because you're asking for a special permit on the property. So, where you said that all of the repair work happens outside, do you have a way of containing the noise so it's not bothersome to your neighbors?
Well, have you got any complaints from any of my neighbors?
They wouldn't have known
Yeah,
because
yeah,
that
well,
wasn't on the agenda.
It's just like you would have your lawn where you're cutting your grass. I might start it for a few minutes, and, I'm not out there, this isn't a 350 Chevy engine running. This is a lawnmower that I run for maybe a few minutes. I tune it up and shut it down, and there's not a lot of noise. I'm usually done by 4 o'clock at night. I'm pretty.
Mr. Oliver, if you can help me with the bedroom issue,
Yeah.
because I know you've talked to David Carrigan, and there have been a number of issues that have come up. How many bedrooms in the accessory apartment?
1,
Okay. How many bedrooms in the main house?
3.
3.
Well, but it's the main house is approved for 5. It has 2 separate septic systems. One septic system for the house and one for the apartment.
Bear with me. I don't want to know about the septic systems. I
Okay.
understand that.
Oh, okay. Well, I came
That's-
up with
no,
this.
I'm trying to figure out the number of bedrooms.
Okay,
Okay? 3 bedrooms, you said, in the main house.
Right.
1 in the other.
right,
So that's 4 bedrooms.
right.
But are you asking us to add a 5th bedroom at this
No.
time? Okay.
No, but the house is already approved. Okay,
No,
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 I'm
no.
not.
The
No, I'm not.
the reason I'm asking you that, just so that you will know, is that under the fact that your house is located in a water resource district and a coastal pond overlay district, you are restricted when you have an accessory apartment to the number of bedrooms that currently exist. Okay? So that would mean a total of 4 bedrooms on the property,
Right.
3 the way you're talking about in the main house, 1 in the accessory apartment. So that in order to accomplish that, where you're saying that there are only 3 bedrooms, would have to then put a restriction that that study cannot become a bedroom.
That's fine.
Okay.
It's just my wife and
Sri,
myself.
did you-
Yeah, that's.
Well, just for clarification for the record, that study was previously a bedroom that he opened up, so his parents, which is why there's a door there now.
Oh, could get
Because
to
the
the
accessory
apartment.
apartment is not going to be open to the house. So that study was a bedroom, and so there had been 5 bedrooms. That's why David didn't have an issue.
Right.
So
Although he was focusing
instead
on Zone 2,
Right,
not the zoning bylaw.
right.
Okay.
But through our talk and everything, he understands that there always was basically 5 bedrooms there. And that's what he based that thing on. For 10,000, he's got 61,000 square feet. For Zone 2, yeah, 6 bedrooms. For the intent of the bylaw for accessory apartments, he has 5 existing.
Okay. So
Basically.
let me re-ask you the question. How many bedrooms exist today? 5?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure that it's in the record so that we can do this
Okay.
properly, okay? All right. The next question I have for you doesn't relate to any of this, but when I was at the site, there was what I would call a storage container or a storage pod out in the back. And to the best of my knowledge, you don't have a special permit for that.
I didn't, I'll be honest with you, I didn't realize that. I had purchased one of those portable garages that lasted about 15 seconds after our first Northeaster. So my buddy had it set his shop, and I purchased it off of him to put back there. I didn't realize you had to, I have an existing building permit on file. I'm going to be building a shed. As soon as the shed's built, that's out of there.
Okay, so your goal is to get rid of that?
Oh, yeah.
What's your
Yeah.
time period for that?
You know, I gotta find, I would say within the year, I plan on having that shed built, so, you know.
Then I would suggest to the board that perhaps we want to amend your application, not only for the accessory apartment under 24038I, but also for a permit for temporary storage unit for up to a year under 240-160A.
All right.
Okay? Now, the board will have to agree to amend that application, but before I ask them, is that something that you would like to do
Well,
at
you
this
know,
time?
if you can amend it for a little longer, I mean, I'm hoping to build it within a year, but you
We don't
can't.
have a choice. When we see something like this, you've got to
Well, then
have
that's fine.
a permit.
That's fine.
If
I
you come
do that.
back later, it's going to cost you another $100 to
I
get the
understand.
permit.
Well, that's fine.
And we can
yeah.
do it up to a maximum of a year.
Well, that's great.
Okay.
That
So
would
you
be
would
great.
agree to that?
Sure.
All right, so before we're...
I'll make a motion to amend the application to include 240-160A, temporary storage.
We have a motion to
I'll
amend,
second it.
and that second was by Scott. All those in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous vote. So we got the amendment in, all right? So when we vote on this whole project, we're going to be doing the accessory apartment and the temporary storage, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
I have one more.
Scott?
When I did my site visit, when you walk directly out back, there's 4 stakes out there. Is that where you're planning?
That's
What's
what-
the square footage of that building gonna be?
Oh, it's 20 by 20 with a little 8-foot by 20 like overhang. The permit's on file, so I would have
Just a storage building?
Just a storage building, that's all.
No
I got my
utility.
zero-turn mower, my tiller, that
Okay.
kind of stuff in there, that's all.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Mr. Oliver, one other quick question. What's on the plan showing the existing Quonset hut, is that what blew away on you?
No, that was another one that, through years, yeah, you think it would
Sure
learn
you
my
want to put
lesson,
something
right?
else out in the back?
Yeah, well, that's what we're gonna do this time, yeah. that's what
A
we're
real
gonna do,
shed.
yeah.
Okay. Siri, any questions? Okay. Is there anyone here that has an interest in Mr. Oliver's application that wishes to speak? Okay. Would have any discussion on this matter, or are you ready to close?
Motion to close.
Okay. Take a seat. We're going to close this hearing, and then we're going to discuss it and act on it, okay? Mrs. Favuli has made the motion to close this hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
David has seconded. All those in favor of closing this hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous vote. Okay. The board's wishes.
I will make a motion to grant application 17-12 for Raymond Oliver Jr.
There's a motion by Mrs.
I'll
Favuli,
second it.
second by Mr. Zelinski. Conditions and findings.
I think we want to limit it to the 5 bedrooms.
It has to.
Yep.
And all of the requirements of 24038I.
And per plans submitted January 31st, 2012.
Anything else that we missed?
The container,
Yeah. The container will obviously be for a maximum of 1 year. And in terms of the findings, it does meet all of the requirements for an accessory apartment. And there's nothing substantially detrimental in terms of
Not at
its
all.
location.
No,
Large
it's
lot,
a huge lot, you
et
don't
cetera.
even know it's there.
Okay. The requirements, again, under 38I, and Mr. Oliver, you may want to follow up after this vote with Ms. Budrow later, but there is the requirement, as Mrs. Favuli was saying, about the affordability of that unit in perpetuity, and there are some detailed requirements you'll have to go through on that, okay?
I have copies I need.
All right, thank you.
Anything else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous vote. Good luck on that, Mr. Oliver. Thank you for coming before us.
Oh, well, thank you very much for your help.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
All right. So those of you who know Dennis Murphy has joined us, who is actually our vice chairman of the board, and obviously a voting member. And he was, Mr. Foreman was impersonating him earlier, and I didn't realize that.
I'm getting close, Mr. Chair.
All right, our next application is application 21-12 for Patricia Riccadelli.
Who are the members?
Oh, and it will be the voting members, thank you.
Application 21-12, being all persons deemed affected by the Board of Appeals under Section 11 of Chapter 48 of the Massachusetts General Laws, you are hereby notified that Patricia Riccadelli of East Falmouth, Mass. applied to the Zoning Board of Appeals for special permit pursuant to Sections 240-70D of the Code of Falmouth to allow existing accessory structure 21 feet in height located at 464 Davisville Road, East Falmouth, Mass. Publication dates March 20th and March 27th, 2012, excuse me.
Good evening, Mr. Ahmed.
Good evening. For your record, I'm Bob Ament. I'm a Falmouth attorney, and I represent the applicant. The applicant is Patricia Riccadelli, lives at 464 Davisville Road. Her husband, Michael Riccadelli, lives with her, and he's in the back of the room. This is an application simply for approval for a special permit to maintain an accessory structure which is 21 feet tall. The zoning bylaw provides that the height of accessory structures should be no more than 18 feet, with an exception possible for lots of 2 acres or more. The subject lot is more than 2 acres, though the zoning district is residential B that only requires 40,000 square foot lots. And the structure that this special permit concerns formerly was a house, a small house. It only has total floor area of 1,068 square feet according to the assessor's records. And it is 21 feet high, well within the 25 feet that an accessory structure is allowed to be. The main house on the property actually is lower, although it's a 2-story house, or a 1.5-story house perhaps. It actually is only about 20 feet high, 19 feet 10 inches, I believe. So this is an unusual circumstance in which the primary structure can be 35 feet tall. The accessory structure can be 25 feet tall with a special permit. And this main house on the property is lower than the accessory structure. The lot lines were changed in 2009, which created a situation that a former house that was on a different lot came to be on the same lot as the Riccadelli house. And as I said, it is 21 feet high, and the Riccadellis felt that they should come before the Board of Appeals for a special permit to legalize that. Now, there are no ill consequences, no adverse impacts whatsoever that outweigh whatever benefits there are to the Riccadelli family from the use of this structure. The house is within 25 feet of an adjoining street, Bourne's Cove Lane. But the building commissioner has determined that only a side yard is required from that street. I have the building commissioner's letter to give you. I'm not sure it's in your file so far. And I also have correspondence from the owners of all of the properties on Bourne's Cove Lane or on Davisville Road at the corner of Bourne's Cove Lane, saying that they have no objection to the structures as they exist, nor to the use of the property for that matter. But it's simply the matter of the height of this accessory structure that you're concerned about. So before I forget, let me give you a copy of the building commissioner's letter on the setback requirement and a copy of the letters from Mrs. Meany and from Mrs. Augusta, who are the residents, among the residents of those properties.
Thanks, Bob.
When you grant a special permit under Section 240-70D for an accessory structure over 18 feet high up to 25 feet high on a 2-acre parcel, you're supposed to determine that the site is suitable so that the neighborhood's visual character won't be affected or views and vistas will not be obstructed. The lot cannot be made less than 2 acres in the future with this permit. That's a condition. So as I said, we have a 2-acre lot and the minimum lot size is only 40,000 square feet, so this is a restriction on the future division of that property. And in addition, no accessory apartment is allowed on the site. The use of this structure, which the Riccardellis refer to as a guest house, is for their family. It has 2 bedrooms in it. The kitchen, which used to exist, has been dismantled to the extent that there is no cooking facility in it, and they understand that that's a condition, that that it not be an apartment, and we would anticipate a condition in the decision restricting any cooking facilities in that structure. I provided you with plans of the structure as well as the other accessory structure that's on the lot that was built pursuant to special permit within the last 2 years, and photographs showing the structure. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thanks, Bob. I'm going to ask for a review of the referrals and correspondence.
No comment from engineering, other than if there's any alterations to the public way, you have to contact the engineering department. Historical has no comment, planning has no comment, and there's only the correspondence that Attorney Ahmet submitted to us from the 2 abutters. That's
Okay,
it.
thank you.
Short and sweet.
Do you want to pass the letter?
Oh, sure.
All right, Dennis, you want to start first?
I don't have any questions.
Okay. Do you want to look at that first? Tricia?
The only thing Bob, did you say it was the rear building was, the 2 bedrooms was family use only? It's not a rental for any purpose?
Not a rental for any purpose. Mr. Riccardelli wants me to correct my obviously incorrect statement that there are 2 bedrooms in the guest house. There are 3 bedrooms in the
There's
guest
3.
house. But never rented separate from the entire property.
Okay.
Never a separate rental for it. So used just for family and guests.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else?
Not at this time.
Scott?
Bob, help me out with they readjusted the property lines, right? And when
That's
was
right.
that?
2009.
And what was the property size before they readjusted it?
Well, obviously the total area has not changed of the 2 lots, and both of the lots have more than 80,000 square feet. So Michael, was there much of a change in the actual area? You need to come forward if you're going to, you can tell me.
I think it's 3.9, including the marsh.
Right. But there were 2. Pretty good. Well, there were 2 lots, and of course they both totaled the existing area, which is about 4 acres. The small house, which we refer to now as a guest house because it's an accessory structure on the reconfigured lot, was on a lot that was a bit larger than the lot that was in the front of the property. So that's been the change.
Okay, and the workshops, they have any amenities in them? There are no bathrooms in the workshop?
I think there's a toilet, but it's pretty much unfinished space, unfinished for living use. It's finished very nicely for a workshop. I submitted a photograph that showed that.
And all these buildings are supported by that one septic?
2 septic systems.
It's showing 2 cesspools as per owner. Okay. All right, thank you. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
David?
No questions.
Ken?
So the activities that take place in the workshop is just,
Mr. Riccardelli is a master carpenter, I understand, and makes large furniture. And that's, if you saw the photograph that I submitted, that's what it looks like. It's a large workshop with workspace, woodworking tools
we
and so on.
also have a home occupation.
Well, no, he doesn't do it.
Not,
I think he's. I wouldn't. Do you sell your?
I haven't, but I would if I could.
okay.
I think it's a
There's
labor.
good chance for
I
advertising.
think it's a labor of love.
The answer was no.
Yeah.
I wonder if I could.
At the present time, he doesn't have a home occupation. That's true.
Okay, that was the question, okay.
But all we're here for is.
The answer is
Yeah.
no. We'll move on.
Okay, the second question I had pertained to the indivisibility, future indivisibility of the lot. And is that get recorded under these kinds of decisions?
Well, it would be included in the decision. That must be recorded.
Right,
So sure.
with it on the deed, yeah. And the deed restriction, okay. Just wanted to make sure of that.
Thank you. Bob, a few questions. On the, because actually there are now 2 new lots basically as of 2009.
Correct.
On the lot that's not subject to our discussion, does that remain a buildable lot?
It is a buildable lot.
Okay. You already answered the number of buildings in the guest house, the number of bedrooms in the guest house is 3. Is there a potential for any bedrooms in the workshop building?
Well, I suppose anything, is there, I don't know if there's a, there's the potential, there are absolutely no plans whatsoever.
Okay. So would there be a problem with a restriction to the number of bedrooms that we have in the property now?
We include the main house.
I'll get there in a minute.
No.
Okay. And how many bedrooms are in the main dwelling?
3 in the main house.
Mr. Riccardelli says they use 3 rooms in the main house as bedrooms now, that there's another room that could be used as a bedroom. I'm concerned that the restriction you're suggesting, I don't think is apt. If we have a main house, we have an accessory structure which is causing no problems whatsoever, the lot coverage overall on this property by structures is less than 7%. 20% is allowed by right. The total lot coverage by parking and paving is, I believe, just less than 10%. 40% is allowed. There is not an overuse of this double-sized lot.
So the answer to my question is probably no, you're not happy with that potential restriction.
Did you
So
figure that out?
The next, I'm just trying to save you time. The next question then is, what about a restriction that there be no bedrooms in the building known as the workshop?
We don't have any problem with that.
Okay, thank you. All right.
I would also suggest that I would have no problem with a provision that said there be no expansion of the accessory structure without returning to the board.
And I think you already answered the question about renting separate from the residence, that there wouldn't be any. You already indicated the removal of the kitchen. You talked about the accessory apartment, no subdivision of the property. Okay. I guess that's all my questions, Bob. Thank you. Suri, any questions? All right. Is there anyone here that is interested in the Riccadelli matter? Okay. Any final questions? Okay. Board want to have any discussion on this one before closing? Okay. You ready? You have enough information to close this hearing?
Sure. Motion to close.
Second.
All right. Mrs. Favuli, Mr. Murphy, made and seconded the motion to close this hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous vote. All right. Some action.
Okay. You want conditions?
Let's get a motion on the table first,
Oh.
okay?
All right. Do I make a motion, just motion to close?
No, we did the motion to close, so motion to
Sorry.
approve.
I'll make a motion to approve 21-12 for Patricia Riccadelli.
Second.
Mrs. Favuli, Mr. Murphy, conditions and then findings.
Conditions, accessory structure to be limited to 3 bedrooms with no cooking facilities.
Okay.
If any expansion is necessary, they'll return to this board, or however you want to word that.
Okay.
I was just writing kind
No,
of
that's fine.
fast. Accessory structure to be family use only, not to be rented.
Could I just make a suggestion on that?
Jump in whenever, I'm just throwing these out.
What we've tended to do more recently is not to be rented separately
Separately,
from the
that's
main
fine.
dwelling, because if they aren't living there, but they rent the entire facility, so
That's
not to be
fine.
rented separately
Separately.
from the main dwelling.
The workshop, do we want to say no habitable space in the workshop, or
No.
how do you want to
No
word that?
bedrooms.
We talked about no bedrooms.
No bedrooms, yeah.
Okay.
I got
That's
the impression
fine.
he habits there quite a bit.
He might, yeah, he might. All right, so no bedrooms in the workshop.
Okay.
Obviously, the lot's not going to be subdivided because,
All right, let me see if I can throw in a
Yeah,
couple
throw some
to
more.
supplement, okay?
Yeah.
Again, our usual in a situation like this, you restricted the kitchen, but also not to be used as a dwelling, to be accessory to the principal use only. I'd like to suggest that there be a deed restriction in this particular situation because it is a house that's being dehoused. No accessory apartment, no subdivision of the property.
do we want to note recognition of the front yard according to the building commissioner's letters? Can you send those back down?
Yes,
I don't know if we should recognize that as a condition or a finding.
What's that?
finding it.
Oh, yeah, fine.
Finding, the building commissioner's letter.
You haven't seen that yet.
It's on the opposite side.
Thank you, Bob. Pursuant to sections 240-13 of the Falmouth Zoning Bylaw, I hereby designate Davisville Road for the primary front yard for purposes of maintaining front yard setback. Along Bourne's Cove Lane, only a side yard setback shall
that
be
would be a
required.
finding.
So that would be a finding. All right, that's all I have.
And again, I think in terms of the findings, it meets the requirements of 240-70D.
Did you have that as a condition too, that it maintains the criteria under 240-70D? I must have missed that.
No, I didn't, so we'll add that, thank you.
Oh,
Okay? Anything else, guys?
Nope.
All set, Board? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous vote.
One other thing, it might be helpful if Bob could get the assessors a copy of this plan.
And again, don't forget the deed restriction.
We have submitted the new plan, if not once, twice, to the assessor's office. We know we've submitted it.
I don't believe they have anything. It would be very helpful.
that's the recorded plan right there that you just touched.
Yep,
We'll be happy to get you another one.
thank you.
All right. So I think the only follow-up again on that one is the deed restriction in particular, but, all right, thank you very much. Good luck, Mr. Riccadelli.
Glad you agree.
This one?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do we want to read the next one in and withdraw it after I read it in, or?
We have to read it
Read it
in,
in?
then
Yeah.
withdraw it. Yeah,
Okay.
all set?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Ready?
Our next application is 25-12 for Peter F. Sheehan.
Application 25-12, being all persons deemed affected by the Board of Appeals under Section 11 of Chapter 48 of Massachusetts General Laws, you are hereby notified that Peter F. Sheehan of Natick, Mass. applied to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a special permit pursuant to Sections 240-3, 240-69E of the Code of Falmouth to construct a kitchen addition to the pre-existing non-conforming single-family dwelling located at Fowler Lane, Falmouth, Mass. Publication dates March 20th and March 27th, 2012.
I just for the record also want to mention that Jim Fox happens to be the designated agent for this application.
Right, and he has correspondence here, and I regret to inform you that the client, Peter Sheehan, has elected not to proceed with the purchase of 8 Fowler Lane, and we are respectively requesting this application be withdrawn without prejudice.
Okay. Is there a motion to withdraw without prejudice?
Moved. Second.
Mr. Murphy, Mr. Zelinski, all those in favor of withdrawal without prejudice, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous vote. Thank you very much. All right.
There's little side bets going over there?
All right. Our next application is 27-12 for Teledyne Benthos.
Application 27-12, being all persons deemed affected by the Board of Appeals under Section 11 of Chapter 48 of Massachusetts General Laws, you are hereby notified that Tynan Benthos of North Falmouth, Mass. applied to the Zoning Board of Appeals for special permit pursuant to Sections 240-160A of the Code of Falmouth to allow 8 existing storage trailers located at 49 Edgerton Drive, North Falmouth, Mass. Publication dates March 20th and March 27th, 2012.
Hi, Chris. You know the routine.
Good evening. My name's Chris Bikes. I represent Teledyne Benthos. We're requesting this special permit. What's changed since last year is we recently purchased 10 acres of land at the end of Edgerton Drive, and we're in the process of submitting our plans to the Cape Cod Commission for review to build a 30,000 square foot addition to our existing building at 49 Edgerton Drive. And our goal is to have this addition completed by June of 2013, and the new addition will include 5,000 square feet of storage, designated storage area, and this is going to take away our need for these storage containers, and hopefully this will be our last year we come looking for our permit.
Probably not if it won't be done till June of 2013, because as you know, we only give it a year at a time.
Does it go from the date that you actually file it, or how's that?
It's the date we approve it, isn't
Do
it?
you approve it?
Well, the board can make that stating that he has a certain amount of time still left, and it's up to you the way you want to handle it.
They'll probably have to, they might even be out of there before then, because we have to, they're going to be in way of construction anyhow.
Let me just ask a technical question.
Sure.
What would be the last possible date that, if the board should choose to extend this, that it could, based on our past decisions? I mean, if he's doing it now, it's April. Did we previously have it done in June? So we don't want to necessarily penalize him for coming in early to try to get this going.
You just make a finding. Did I put the other one in there? Remember? Because they're separate special permits.
I know.
Every year. But I believe he was here at the end of May, were you not, last year?
I believe it
March
was.
3rd, 2011, they applied, and the hearing was held on April 28th.
Oh,
Is there a signature page on that one by
Yeah.
any chance?
Oh,
Hang on,
it was the year before.
no signature
but,
page here.
yeah.
So,
It was a
it's
little
April?
later.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right, so much for the technical question. Anything else, Chris?
No, that's
Okay.
it.
Let's see if there's any correspondence, see if there's any questions, okay? Referrals and correspondence.
Referrals, building, no comment, engineering, no comment unless you're making any adjustments to access. Board of Health has no comments, Natural Resources has no comment, and Planning has no comment. And there's no correspondence,
Okay.
other than
See
from
if-
Chris.
Any question? You haven't had a chance to start, so go ahead.
On this one?
Yeah.
I have no questions.
Dennis.
Looks like you're making progress.
We're getting there.
Chris, how much square footage is in the 8 storage containers right now?
Let's see, 2,500 roughly.
Okay, so the 5,000
Oh, it's more
square
than
feet is
enough.
more than adequate
Yes.
for your needs? Okay, thank you.
Tricia?
No questions.
Scott? David?
No questions.
and I just want to make sure I heard you correctly, so we have it for the record. The process right now is going to be before the Cape Cod Commission, and we know that that can be somewhat of an extensive process.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Sri, any questions? Okay. Anyone here on this particular matter? Okay. I think we have enough information if you want to close this hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Aha.
Ken?
Mr. Murphy and Mr. Foreman. All those in favor of closing this hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous vote. All right, action.
Vote that we approve the request to
Okay.
extend the special permit on storage containers.
Okay.
I
And it
think
will
we
be
should
for
extend,
1
can we extend it to 1 year
year.
from?
It's a maximum of a
They're
year.
separate
Okay,
permits.
so we can't do it from a year from the last one?
No.
That's too bad.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second?
Yes.
Any discussion? Same, no derogation from the previous?
You can't,
There is-
this is a
that's right,
separate-
That's right,
it's a
well, that's right.
separate
And there are no
application.
conditions.
So what I can basically do is go down what the board has previously
Right.
approved
That would be great.
as a separate permit, and it'll,
Do you
That-
want?
You're absolutely right. No,
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
you'd like
yeah,
to.
okay. Location of the 8 storage trailers shall be as shown on the plan, which we now need to reference February
Okay.
28th. Any deviation, they must return. Minor changes may be administratively approved.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
You're opposed?
You're opposed?
Yes, I'm very opposed.
Well, we have a 4-1 decision in your favor. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay.
Do you want to know what? I think I do. Well, I'll tell you, because you guys are all stumped why I'm saying no.
Yeah.
If we allowed every business in the town of Falmouth to come to us for temporary storage, year after year after year, what would this town look like? And where would we be able to get taxing revenue from?
But they are.
All right.
That's it. You
The
guys wanted
matter's
to know,
over.
so.
So if they come back next year, we can discuss it further.
Right.
If you're all here. All right. That ends all of the hearings, thanks, Chris, for this evening. We do have 5 items on our open meeting agenda this evening. The first is the minutes. Okay.
sorry.
The first of the minutes for March 15, 2012.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It was Johnson Holmes, Annicelli, Handley, Agopian, and Gorman.
And David would recuse himself on the Handley
On
matter.
Handley, right, and everybody was here.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. The next is an administrative approval request for Cubby Construction, which was a comprehensive permit that we had approved. The request is to extend the permit. Sri, do you have a summary for us?
Before you do, just a brief statement. My daughter goes to the daycare owned by Cubby's daughter. I don't think it affects my ability to sit on this, but if anyone feels that way, speak
Nope.
now.
Thank you, Dennis.
How is she on the playground?
Sri, do you have a summary on this?
Oh, excuse me, I apologize. I should have given that to you.
I don't think you needed these.
My bad.
Oh, you're doing 2 jobs tonight, so you'll forget me. This is from Laura Moynihan. I represent Cubby Construction, enclosed for reference is a copy of the comprehensive permit. This letter is to request a 2-year extension on behalf of the applicant pursuant to the Department of Housing and Community Development Affordable Housing Regulations. This regulation allows for the Board of Appeals to extend the date for lapse of the permit. A comprehensive permit otherwise lapses if construction has not begun. Construction has not commenced on the project due to the economic conditions that have occurred since the issuance of the comprehensive permit, in particular the decline in the real estate market and absence of financing opportunities. That's our request.
Okay, so this was a comprehensive permit approved in 2009. 3 years for a comprehensive permit, if I remember correctly, and the request is for a 2-year
2 years.
extension,
2 years.
which would be through what date?
2014.
So from today, it would be 2 years, okay?
What's the date? Excuse me.
Of the
The
comprehensive
signature
permit.
page.
The
Down
permit
there.
was issued
Says
July 19th, 2009.
So 2 years from now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll take her word for that.
Yeah.
All right, any questions? I know Laura remained, so, any comments?
Well, it's certainly understandable with
Yeah.
the economy as it was.
It's a responsible thing to do,
Yeah.
rather than start something and leave it half undone or,
Not finish it.
Let's
absolutely.
be more helpful than the banks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think we'd have to have some really good reason not to anyway. Given the fact that it is a comprehensive permit, it would be the voting members, so is there a motion
I'll
to
make a
grant the
motion
extension?
to grant the extension on comprehensive permit 18-09 for Covey Construction.
I'll second that.
This is for Mr. Murphy. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous vote. Thanks.
Just a question, was that a 3-2 vote? Because it's related to a 40B?
It could have been, but it was a unanimous vote.
Yeah, of course it was, yeah,
Right.
but just curious. if,
It would have been, yeah, because of a comprehensive permit. Thank you very much. I'm sorry you had to wait around, but it wasn't terribly long. All right. All right, good luck on
Enjoy
that
the game.
project. Okay. Our next is a discussion for the board on People for Cats. Why that's before us is there was recently advertised
The
a,
advertisement is here.
yeah, a kitten class.
And
then-
Mr. Gore.
And then
sent it to us.
Mr. Gore also sent that to us.
Did you need the file, Tricia?
No, I think
I think everyone probably remembers this case very well, although Scott and David weren't on the board at that time. And the way it was put on the agenda was regarding this particular event for either administrative approval or to move toward modification. I don't know if you've all had a chance to review the special permit and the decision and the conditions.
I sent it out to all the board
Great.
members.
But I would probably suggest to the board that the board at that time probably had good reason, and it did not allow for any minor modifications to be approved administratively by either the board or by the administrator. So I think that technically, although that's on the agenda to discuss that, there probably is no, it's just my feeling, so obviously open to the board.
Yeah, I can't make that determination, so I left it up to
Right.
the board.
So,
But town council does say if it is not a condition,
Right.
then you shouldn't be doing an administrative approval.
Now, we did communicate with folks from People for Cats to let them know that this was being discussed.
Yes.
So, and I don't see anyone here from the audience regarding that particular project.
Well, they may have been confused about the timing. I mean, I told everybody I wouldn't be here any later than 7:30 for People for Cats.
Right. So, but in any event, I'm not sure that we would be taking testimony or information, so it's up to the board. A, do you think that you have the ability to administratively approve it? So that would be the first question, and if not, this really cannot take place under the scope of the permit. Dennis?
You looking for thoughts?
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think we all remember that one very well, and the neighbors had a lot of concerns, and I think even if we had the ability, which I don't know whether we do or not, I would not be comfortable administratively approving anything for People for Cats.
And I think that was probably the thinking of the board when, because we do that in every application, it was not in this particular one, and this is one that we had drafted before we actually voted on it. So, any other thoughts?
No, I agree with Dennis. I think this one was a pretty long, drawn-out process, and I don't think it would be fair to the neighbors to undermine that process at this point in
Right.
time. I guess the only question I have is, where this is a nonprofit, have we ever waived their application fee for them
No.
to come back? No. For them to come back to us for something like this, where they're going and doing an educational to the
Right.
public, to the community, they're reaching out and That's just a question I'm throwing out. And I didn't remember ever doing it in all the years I've been here.
If we waived application fees for
Oh, I
every
know, I'm just
nonprofit, what would
throwing-
this town look like?
And where would we get the revenue?
Oh, just give it to me.
So,
The question, if the board remembers, the question of nonprofit and exemption did come up during that hearing based on educational.
Right.
Yes.
And they did not go forward with it.
that's right.
Okay, thank you.
The other thing, too, is that I took the time to read very carefully this decision and all of the testimony and the findings. And the applicant never asked for, under its operations, this type of situation.
Right.
It was exclusively for adoption and care during the 7 to 7 hours. The adoption was twice a week, particular hours. The care by volunteers was all that was requested, and it was 7 to 7 time period. So this was never even requested by the applicant.
Right, and they're looking to do a second program at the West Falmouth Library, so there's no reason why they couldn't do this program that they want to do this Saturday at the library. They could change their location.
All right, so I think you've got the answer, that the board's not interested, or nor does it feel it has the ability to do an administrative approval. I know they've got a bit of a time period, so if you'd communicate with them as soon as possible that the board was not inclined, if they have any desire to do these types of things, that they would need a modification. And I just want to remind the board also that part of the conditions were, and that there would be no off-site parking by visitors or volunteers. And after 1 year of occupancy, which we'll try to figure that out, we were to have an open public meeting to talk about the traffic. So that'll be coming back to us one way or the other. I mean, that didn't necessarily require an application or an application fee, just a
Right,
public
just a-
meeting with us.
Right, and that's based on the date of occupancy for the building, the day
Right.
that it opened, not the date of the permit itself.
And what was that?
It was in the fall. I remember being out there for my last inspection.
The fall of 2011.
11.
It hasn't been a year yet that they've been
Yeah.
Have you had any?
operating.
If you remember correctly, they had some construction problems where they had to raise
Didn't they
a
end up
portion.
just
Raising a portion.
Yeah, raise and reconstruct.
Right,
Just a portion of it.
Just a portion.
yeah, okay.
They didn't turn my.
Raises in RAZ.
Right,
Right.
right. Deconstruct. Okay, all right, next we'll move on to the next item.
Is that for the file?
No,
Oh, it's yours.
that's just
Okay.
my notes. All right, and if I can give you a little bit of a background on this, and this is, as put on the agenda regarding 40B monitoring concerns specifically at the Wise Living at Dillingham 40B project. So just a little bit of background. Comprehensive permit was issued for this 55-plus affordable housing in 2003. Last month, we learned that one of the affordable units was to be sold to an individual who does not meet the financial eligibility requirements. The plan is for this non-eligible person to purchase the unit at the affordable price, which appears contrary to the comprehensive permit, the Mass Housing Deed Riders, and the Condo Association Master Deed. The town did not exercise the option to purchase the unit, despite the fact that there is, I believe, $1 million in the Affordable Housing Fund. This raises several issues. As a result of Cerie's initial inquiries, several important issues have been uncovered that may or may not be isolated to the town of Falmouth or the particular monitoring agent, who in this case is CHAPR, as you know, that's Citizens Housing Association, Inc., but also subcontracted part of its responsibility to Housing Assistance Corporation. So I think based on Cerie's initial inquiries, here are the issues as I see them. The responsibility and coordination after a 40B project is complete. This project has been complete for at least 3 years, and there has been no sign-off or report from the monitoring agent. Following the issuance of the comprehensive permit, the following parties have been involved, but not all of the parties have communicated with each other. They include the building commissioner, the planning department, our office, the town manager's office, the board of selectmen, the Affordable Housing Committee, Town Council, Monitoring Agent, Sub-Monitoring Agent, and the Condo Association. In my mind, it's raised some awareness that we need to have about what the town's goals are. Are they affordable housing, or are they to maintain the subsidized housing inventory? Otherwise put, the price of a house or condo or the eligibility of buyers. The regulations call for affordability of the unit in perpetuity. If it can't be sold, and there's a 90-day period that is allowed for the current individual who meets the eligibility criteria for the affordable unit to sell, and I guess I question, and we have an expert, who can possibly sell their property these days in 90 days to another eligible person. And if not, the regulations say it can then be sold at market rate. The difference between the market rate and the affordable price is to go to the Affordable Housing Fund. The theory, I gather, behind this is that the unit can be replaced by the town using the Affordable Housing Fund, which is over $1 million right now. Therefore, a unit remains affordable in perpetuity. In this case, Chapper couldn't sell the unit to an eligible person. The town didn't buy it. Now Chapper wants to allow a non-eligible person to pay not the market price, but the affordable price. Although the unit won't be used for affordable housing because the price is capped, it stays affordable housing because somebody else is, a non-eligible person is buying it. Because the price is capped, it stays on the subsidized housing list, and the town gets no money. It begs the question again of the goal. Is it the subsidized housing list, or is it affordable housing? Because the next question comes that if, and there is a proposal now for the town to sign a modified deed rider to allow this to happen. So the question comes to the board, does something like this require a modification of the comprehensive permit? Because that was never anticipated. And I guess the final issue that's raised is the whole issue of monitoring agents in general. Is there any accountability to the town, the ZBA? Is there a complaint process if we're not happy with what a monitoring agent does? Can we choose the monitoring agent rather than the developer or the state? And as we look at marketing plans, is a 90-day period really sufficient in today's
They can
economy?
extend the 90-day period.
To a maximum of
and they have.
120.
They have.
Right.
So, they can extend it.
So that was just sort of an introduction. I wanted to give Sri the opportunity, who's done all of the inquiries, to supplement what I had to say.
Well, number one, it's submitted for the town's approval, and right now town council is looking at it. The question that I have that I've asked, if I can ask CHAPA, which I've been told not right now until town council looks at it, is to get proof of how they marketed it. Because if you look in the file, the marketing plan shows that it is an extensive list of different places that they're going to send it to, not just advertising in papers. And this is what they get money for. You know, the people who want to sell it, they have to pay CHAPA, I don't know.
It was $300 in this case.
$300
For,
to market it. That's part of their fee.
And this was also the portion that was subcontracted by the monitoring agent to Housing Assistance Corporation, which also wonders is,
Which
you know.
wasn't in our stuff.
Right.
We just figured that out when CAC started sending us information.
Let's see if she has any more information.
But you gotta remember, this is an older comprehensive permit back from 2003, so I really had to try and familiarize myself with it. Now, I have issues with it, and I've talked to several people, including the two ladies out in the audience on, I'm very frustrated about this, very frustrated, because number one, you mentioned documents that are in the file, but also the monitoring agreement says it. the marketing plan that they submitted refers back to, you know, the regulatory agreement, the monitoring agreement. Nowhere does it have, in the event that, you know, everything's worked, and if this is happening, and I don't know where the building department is involved, because I don't think the building department is involved.
No, I said since our approval of the comprehensive permit, obviously the building commissioner got involved because of making sure it was built properly, et cetera.
Oh, yeah, but that doesn't have anything
Right.
to do with chapter reporting.
But to give an idea of where I'm concerned about the way communications go in this situation, for example, there was a letter to the chairman of the Board of Selectmen regarding the marketing plan and the option to purchase. And that was copied to the Affordable Housing Committee. Nothing came to this board. The town manager's office gets involved, the planning department gets involved. I know that the condo association has written having some real concerns about what kind of fees get paid to the association.
That makes sense. You have somebody who's not eligible for an affordable unit, but they get to get in. Well, who's responsible for their fees? If they are not eligible to have an affordable, then they should be paying fees. Now, that's going to turn everything upside down, because then the town is also saying if they do sign this, it sells as an affordable, so then the association's got to go back, do the fees. It's ridiculous, and it's not fair to the other people within the association, and it's not what we approved. To me, this has to come back to this board for approval, because you didn't put a condition in the event. This all has to go according to what the rules and regulations were, and that's what the board at that time based it on, and that's certainly what we do now. But another thing I want the board to think about is, how do we protect in the future this? How do we deal with this? You guys have got to write it into your conditions that something like this just shouldn't happen, because you have that authority.
Right, and I think that's what I wanted to generate. We've got some 40, well, obviously you can tell that both Sari and I are a little bit amped up on this particular situation.
It's scandalous.
But, and, you know, so we need to be thinking about, you know, there's a lot of work that goes into a 40B on our part, not to say that others don't as well, but for example, when does in perpetuity mean in perpetuity? And, you know, some other, so we need to be thinking of this not only as, you know, one, to make sure this happens appropriately, that the town responds properly. In order to respond properly, we've somehow got to funnel the information to one person in town. It would seem to make sense that the Zoning Board of Appeals, as the owner of the permit, can do that, but certainly I'd like...
I think you need to condition that, because the way they're regimenting things now would go to the zoning enforcement agent. That's what the whole dynamics of the regulatory boards is changing.
Right.
But this has to be maintained, and the follow-through has to be done almost immediately.
Right. And so, and there are some other perhaps legal questions too. For example, the 90 days for marketing that can be extended by 30 days is under the regulation.
60.
Is it 60 days? But perhaps by agreement of the parties, it could be a longer period of time. Right. There are things that we need to think about and look at, but I know a number of you want to speak, and Scott, you had wanted to catch my attention first.
Well, I may be mistaken, and maybe somebody that's been on the board a lot longer than I could, hasn't there always been overwhelming response to the lottery system to get into these?
I think this one's different, excuse me.
Please,
I think this
is
one's
just a
different because
discussion.
this is 62 and older.
55,
maybe-
55 and older.
It's 62.
62.
Oh, this one's...
This one is 62.
I didn't recognize anyone from the audience, Ms. Again.
It's 62. The audience was correct.
This is one of the odd ones that, like I said, I wasn't here then, but it is
But nobody out there.
62
So
and
why
older.
couldn't that
so
be modified?
I'm sure that it's harder possibly to place this, but remember, the last affordable at Dillingham that sold, those people had just sold their house and didn't have any more than $150,000 in the bank, so they
qualify.
met the criteria of affordable. I want one.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
know, I
it sort of
think
begs the
this is so
question about
unfair.
what the need in town is if you can't
Exactly.
sell one of these.
Isn't that what isn't that what they're for? I mean, to to adjust it so it fits easier than changing the whole dynamic?
Oh, wait, you mean change the age limit?
Wouldn't that be the,
Well,
No, you
the
can't do
application
that.
came in
Why?
specifically for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
but
was the
if they
application.
can't sell, maybe, you talked
That's
about
against-
reviewing the comprehensive permit,
Then
right?
that goes against the whole association and everything.
I understand,
Majors.
but I'm just saying, if perhaps, at least for the affordable units, you might say you could have a lower age.
is that worse than
Yes,
letting somebody come in and buy it?
Actually, you guys, it is, because they made it 62, because there's
Right.
no children, there's a lot of things, and they applied specifically for that.
For
So
that.
They would have to come to us and ask
Right.
us to modify that. We can't enforce
And that was
them.
something that they applied for and this board approved.
We approved it, and everybody that purchased a unit in there purchased it based on that information, that it was 62 and above. And in fairness to all the people that have bought those market rate units and the affordable rate units, to throw that in there now
Yeah.
would be really, really
Is it also fair to the rest of
unfair.
those people to sell that?
Well,
But-
I don't think
I mean, we're
one,
talking about fair.
one
I
is
don't think one
contingent
is
on the
not,
other.
right.
Well, let's just take off the table. We cannot change that element.
Right.
That was an application that came before us and it was permitted.
And that was their
We can't
request.
change that. The reason I brought
So
this.
what is the,
Yeah, what is the element we're asked to change?
what is the cure?
Future.
Well, the element that has been asked, it's been not asked of us, although I think it should be, it's been asked of the town through the town manager's office to change a deed rider that allows for this unit to be sold at the capped price to a non-eligible person, and for that deed rider to continue the unit to be affordable. So when that non-eligible person sells it in the future, it would have to be sold at the eligible price. So the goal I was saying is that it maintains our subsidized list, who cares, in my opinion, versus keeping somebody who needs an affordable unit from getting it. And then somebody's got to be around when that person chooses to sell in order to make sure the deed
Meets the
rider is
criteria.
enforced.
Exactly.
And then I raised for 3 this morning, and so what happens if a non-eligible person buys it at the affordable price, dies, leaves it to
To their
an heir,
children.
exactly, who is, children might be 62 and above,
Without
and,
kids.
and, you know,
Right,
you
and it
have to
never goes back on
rely
the
on the
market.
fact that somebody through a title, or the condo association, who they are at the time, is on top of it, et cetera.
I mean, it's clearly contrary to the whole, to the, at least the purported intent of 40B to create affordable housing,
Now-
right? For people who need affordable
Well,
housing.
I think,
So,
I don't, my own opinion is I've never voted for a comprehensive permit to try to beat the inventory. I've done it because there's been a
well, we
need.
can't, we've talked about, I mean, the town can't get to the
It
10%.
probably can
So-
never get
So that's not, not a reasonable goal anyway.
No, and we had a gentleman here tonight that gladly gave an affordable unit as an accessory apartment. So here we are,
Which
doesn't
which
count.
doesn't count.
Right, well, I've always,
It never
that's a
will.
whole
They
nother
never
issue. 'cause
will.
I've
No,
always
but I'm
argued
just,
it should be able
they
to
should be,
count.
but here we are, we've got somebody giving it to us, and now we've got someone taking it.
counted those,
Well, we get closer, but
Well,
we're going
except right now,
backwards
they can't
fast
count.
by giving something up like this. And I guess my question is the proof of marketing, what do we have for proof of
That's
marketing?
just, that's what I
Hello?
want to know.
And
I want to know if these monitoring agents are doing what they
So what do we do about it?
submitted as a marketing plan. I mean, there was like 8 pages
Right.
of different businesses, company, whatever, that they were going to mail to, the advertising, I mean, it was substantial.
And proof of marketing,
Scandalous.
right, and proof of marketing is listing it with a real estate broker who gives no information about affordable. It's out there for sale, and the buyers looking at it are given no information on affordability, no details.
That's true, it is out there just
It's-
as a for sale unit.
And it is,
We've seen it advertised.
with the broker
and seen
giving
it
no
about
information.
affordable.
So is that marketing it as an affordable unit? It's not in my mind.
All right.
But they're not the only ones who do that, by the way.
Now,
Right.
there's no vote before us. I just wanted to bring the board
Right,
up
but
to
what
speed.
action, what are the action items?
Let me,
How
let
do
me, let me make us, let me get to that. Some people I feel have come here for this, although we're not making a vote. This isn't a hearing, because we do have some colleagues from the town. Let's come up a little closer, and if you have something,
Do you mind if we ask Annie to speak on this, because she works directly
Yeah,
with this?
I did. I just hated the fact that she, from the audience, corrected me. But Annie, come on up.
Annie, she never corrects anything.
She was just
And-
talking out loud. It's
and
me, I'm sorry.
You're on TV, so introduce yourself if you will.
Annie Saganek, Executive Director for the Falmouth Housing Trust. As somebody who monitors, I appreciate your discussion. Affordable housing is complicated, and as you can see, preserving units is almost as complicated as getting units on the rolls and/or into the, getting folks housed in them. I think the key sort of component when you deal with resales is having a presence locally and doing the work annually. If you don't do the work annually and you don't have a presence locally, I think it's really hard to sell a funny unit like 62 and older with all these restrictions. I will tell you that the majority of my work is done at Stop and Shop or at the soccer fields on Saturday mornings or T-ball. That's when people I know say, oh, Annie, you know, my so-and-so or so-da-da-da. You know, it's anecdotal. It's a small community. People know what you're doing, and they express an interest, and then I, you know, meet with them professionally, and we go through the process. I don't know what CHAPA or HAC has done to affirmatively market these units. I think it's well within your right to ask for proof. I think you should.
Asked the town has told us not to at this point.
That's interesting. I would say,
To other things, it's in front of town council, so that's really.
yeah, I would say that, you know, what you folks should be thinking about when you're discussing this are, you know, what I said, the local presence, an annual report to your board and to the town manager and the planning board, or whomever is going to be sort of the deciding organization, if you will, who's going to really sort of follow the affordable units. You worry about 40Bs, but there are other affordable units that are non-40Bs that happen in the town. And so I think that's where the disconnect happens on a municipal level, some of it. I think so, you know, somebody needs to annually monitor, make sure there's no fraud, make sure there's no, you know, folks living in units that they're not qualified for, subletting, renting, profiting.
Annie, when you're saying someone, are you saying someone of the town, or are you saying the monitoring agent?
The monitoring agent should be ascertaining that for the town of Falmouth annually, and they should report. We do it, and I'm in contact with my homeowners, so we do.
Who do you report to?
I report to DHCD, the okay, so that's the Department of Housing and Community Development, which is sort of the head honchos of affordable housing, if you will, for the town, for the state.
Who do you report to in Falmouth?
In Falmouth, I typically get in with Heather. I send Sari a copy of it annually. I believe it's supposed to go to the town planner's office. I don't know that it does. I always brief the Affordable Housing Committee. I asked Heather if she wanted me to send it to the chairman of the Board of Selectmen, and she said that she could handle it. And I said, okay, great. So what we do is we annually send out a mailing. We ask our homeowners to return a statement signed and dated that they understand that they are not to rent rooms, rent by the week, all those wonderful things, which has happened before, so that they're not profiting from their workforce housing, if you will. That they understand if they're going to make any capital improvements that they want to be considered upon resale, that they have to get approval first, and we will say to them, sure, do an addition, but I'm not going to add that. That's not going to change because it changes the deed, which is what you're dealing with now. It gets pretty complicated. We also make sure that they have not had any unrecorded or unauthorized liens or loans against the property, so that they haven't gone and refinanced and taken equity out. We really don't allow our homeowners to take equity out unless there's a pressing need. So they have to have a new roof, a tree, you know, something crazy happens and they really have to have this money for some reason.
Can I interrupt you right there?
Yep.
Ann? Both of those examples have happened in this town.
And
One was sold, a bank loaned them money far above the value of the affordable value. We didn't know about it until, what, a year and a half later. And then the other one was a gentleman upgraded his house and tried to put that on top to a large amount of money, correct?
Mhm,
Annie?
yep.
I think Annie was the one who had to deal with that one.
We also
So
had-
those
yeah.
things happen
So Annie,
constantly.
are these things that you're describing what the Falmouth Housing Trust does as a monitoring
Yes.
agent? Or is this what every monitoring agent
That's what you
be
should
doing?
do.
Okay.
I can't speak for others, but that's what we
Right.
do. The other thing that they really need to
What if we have a
do,
complaint about you?
Yeah.
about me?
Yeah.
Well, I would hope you'd take it up with me or my
No,
board.
what's the process? If I don't like the way you're monitoring our program.
I think you could probably, I guess you would make it to the town manager, meaning your neighborhood, if you were a homeowner and you thought I was
No,
harassing
The Zoning Board
you.
of Appeals
Oh.
doesn't like the lack of monitoring that's happening with the project. How do we deal with that?
For
Which
any monitoring agent, you're saying, not just the
Yeah,
Falmouth.
yeah.
Well, she can only speak for herself.
Yeah.
That's-
So if I were you, I would, I would,
What's the process?
I don't know.
Okay. I don't know either.
What I would advise you to do is notify DHCD, notify CHAPA, MHP, the subsidy agents. Say to them, we've had, X, Y, and Z as problems in our town. This agency or organization has, and I wouldn't do it the first time because you could have a disgruntled homeowner, but if you have a track record that's poor, then I think you should.
Right. Next question. And I know that you're competitive perhaps to other monitoring agents that may come in for projects. However, who gets to select the monitoring agent? Is it the developer? Is it DHCD?
I think it has to do I think the developer is guided or directed sometimes by the zoning administrator, often by the subsidy agent. I think I think people are steered sort of in certain directions. I think the other thing that you need to be worried about is cost certifications. If people don't file and close out their permits.
Yeah. What's your typical closeout time? I mean, you heard me say that 3 years have gone by and we haven't had a closeout on this.
I think Mill Farm, I don't know, I was only with the trust for like 2 months and it was 2 years. And so what you do is you get an outside certified public accountant who's on DHCD's list. You hire them. The trust hired them. They say, I need X, Y, and Z from the builder. I request it. Everybody, I did a lot of it by email, some certified letters, so that we have a paper trail. And the guy goes through it, or the girl goes through it, and they figure out that, yes, they're well within their profitability, or they exceeded it. If they exceeded it, that's when you have a problem, and that overage needs to come back to the municipality.
And you're
That
probably,
is the only cost certification this board has seen, by the way.
Then what?
and you're pretty familiar with DHCD, personnel rules, et cetera. You seen a case where a zoning board of appeals has said, here's the monitoring agent we want?
Not that I know, but I really concentrate on Falmouth. I could nose
I just
around.
asked if you had that information. If you don't, that's okay.
I don't,
I'm just
no.
trying to, it's interesting, for 8 years I've sat in comprehensive permits,
Mm-hmm.
and something like this comes along, and you start to look at things a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So the next one that we're dealing with, we want to make sure that we have all of the options that we can. So, as you said, and I think you agree with me, they're complex matters to begin with, and you get into something like this, it becomes even more complex.
You do approve through the way that you condition all the documents and who the monitoring agent is. You do approve, and if you have a problem with it at that point, I think it is up to you to talk to the developer. I mean, and generally, this board knows who that monitoring agent's going to be before your final decision.
Could we not put a condition in that the developer not turn it over to the association, especially where it's a condo complex, until that is done?
Until
what's done?
Until the final
Certification.
audit
Certification.
certification? Why would we not be making sure that
That's a big
certification?
liability issue for the developer. I don't know if that's something that they could
That's
possibly.
But they've selected the monitoring agent.
Right, I realize.
That's right, and they're turning it over, and I would think that the association would not want to take on the liability of taking over as an association unless that's done.
I don't think one has anything to do with the other. The developer is responsible for the cost certification.
Right? But now he's
The
gone.
association, the minute that last certificate of occupancy is signed, the developer turns over the association.
What might be
you gotta start
interesting-
accruing.
Yeah. What might be interesting is the association doesn't take it over until it's
Until
done.
that's done.
Yeah, but then what happens to the development if there's no cost certification for 2 years?
There
I
will
don't
be.
know if that's
There will
fair to
be if
the-
it's
Because
forced.
they don't want the
I don't know if that's fair to
liability.
the development.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
It really
I think it
does.
makes perfect sense.
The Housing Trust, we hang on for at least a year, and we manage the association. We attend the annual meetings of, the election of boards and sort of, people who are going to do what in a neighborhood, and we guide them through the process.
And there are some other folks here that we want to,
Yep, I have two more things I want to...
And before you do that,
Yeah.
what do you usually charge a homeowner, or let me reword that. Is there any regulatory price to charge a homeowner for marketing? Okay.
We don't charge the homeowner, we charge the developer upon permitting.
If the developer's already gone,
Like
It's
a
a-
resale.
resale.
and a resale, like this.
Oh, it's in the deed, and it's, so for instance, the resales that we've done while I've been here have been at Mill Farm, and I think it's 2.5%. 2 3/4, it's a mathematical computation.
So it's not a flat dollar amount?
No, and it has to do with typically the size of the development. The deeds are approved by DHCD upon the permitting. So now we use a universal deed writer. It has to do with the size, it has to do with the common stock. It's complicated.
Okay, you had two other points, and then I want to
Yeah,
see
now
if
I
the
may
president
have,
has anything, and then...
Forgotten about them? I forgot about them, sorry.
To a discussion about because you guys,
Oh, I know what it was, that there's also this sort of urban myth, if you will, that there's a certification of monitoring agents. That in fact is not true. There's no certifying process right now. The state has none. And I've gotten that, I have that in writing from Paul Rashinskas at the Home Consortium and also DHCD and MHP. If you're interested, I can share those with Sari and she can.
Always, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks. And Andy, thank you for all that you have shared
Thanks.
with this office. In particular, Ken brought up earlier about the affordable housing units, and Annie did a lot of research for herself, but
Accessory,
also
yeah.
shared it with us, that unfortunately, as it is now, there is no way to get those accessory apartments on the
Yeah.
list.
No, I mean, my understanding was we need to revise the
The
statute.
bylaw, yeah. Our bylaw conflicts with the state's.
Our bylaw or the state
nobody
statute?
ever approved the
Ours.
bylaw. Did the bylaw go before
Falmouth.
DHCD for approval?
Falmouth.
So it could be something done at the planning board.
Well, that'd be nice. We should work on that.
Yeah, they,
Yes, we should.
thanks.
All right.
7 years we've talked.
Ms. McCormick?
Yes.
All right. If you have anything to add to the general discussion, we're not talking about Dillingham precisely. That was sort of educating the board as to what the purpose is, but we're not the forum to really argue or solve the Dillingham matter right now. You hear what we're saying, that we're concerned that any change to the deed rider, we, I think, believe, we'll find out in a few minutes, that it would require a modification of the comprehensive permit for us. But if you have anything to add to the general discussion, you're welcome to join us. I hate to have somebody, particularly a paid professional, that's come and spent the evening with us without having an opportunity.
My name is Maura McCormick, and I represent the Board of Trustees at Dillingham. And as you had said, that is our biggest issue, is that CHAPA is coming in, and they may not just only do this to Dillingham, is changing affordable deed riders. They don't have any authority to do it. It's not in the comprehensive permit. It's part of our master deed, this deed rider, and they're changing the language to make it so a non-eligible person can come in and purchase a property at the maximum resale value. That is the biggest issue, and they don't have any where it's coming from. I've called them, I've spoke to them on the phone. They've told me it's illegal. No one's gotten back to me. I've talked to the town about it. I've been told it's illegal. No one's given me any status updates on how they have the authority to change a deed rider that's already been approved. So that's pretty much the
Was there anything
issue.
that I mentioned earlier in sort of my introductory comments that was incorrect by any chance?
No, that's the same issue that we're having at the association, specifically in your initial comments, is the changing of then the portions of the condo fees due. That becomes a big issue for the people that own property there, have paid their fair market value. The deed itself, master deed says, then we have to change everything, but that house isn't leaving affordability, so how do we change it all? So this is a tough situation that we're in, trying to make that all work together.
Well, I wish we could solve it for you this evening, but we can't, and I just felt it was important to raise everyone's awareness of this.
Who in the town have you talked with, Maura?
I have spoken to Heather Harper. I have also hand-delivered a letter that I sent to the potential buyer of one of the units. I have spoken to Kevin Murphy when I saw him at town meeting.
Have you talked to town council, Pat Harris?
I forwarded him the email to his office.
Pat Harris is handling it, not Frank Duffy, and that's who I have turned everything over to, and that's who, I got an email back from Heather today saying, we're looking into things, and it is before Pat Harris, and I have sent her.
I did send it to the town council general mailbox, and they said that they were looking into it. One of the other items that you did mention, though, was that it's a very difficult place to sell the affordable units. This is 208 specifically we're having the issue with. I have an email confirmation that 205 is being sold correctly. So it's not difficult.
Actually, I didn't say that. I'm not sure anyone...
Oh, someone had mentioned that they're being 62 and older makes it difficult to sell.
I had said that it may be...
But it is possible if it's done correctly, because Hack is selling 205 right now. And it's an eligible purchase.
What is the asking price?
Of the one that we're having the issue with?
Yeah, sure.
$152,800.
And it's how many bedrooms?
I believe it's 2. It should be sold between 350, 2 bedrooms. It should be sold between 350 is what the fair market value is.
Right. And the way our comprehensive permit says, the difference, if it were to go to a non-eligible person, comes to the Falmouth Housing Fund.
But
yes, allowing them to purchase another unit.
You made the point earlier
that sort of keeps a unit in perpetuity.
And that is the process of the deed rider. There's only 2 things you can do.
If the town if it were acquired by the town, could it then be leased or rented?
No, what would end up happening is that unit would come out of the affordability. It would then be changed in the master deed correctly, and then the condo fees would be apportioned correctly, but the perpetuity would remain, because then the Falmouth Housing Trust could purchase another affordable unit for the town of Falmouth with the extra funds.
It could be, I'm just trying to figure out if there's an entity that could purchase it.
And remarket it?
And remarket
well,
it
yes,
as affordable.
I think, and this is an interesting question.
But it has to be owned as a condo. It cannot be rented.
It cannot be.
It has to be owned.
And the issue, the idea of the option could have been, and we have to look at that, is the town buy it as the affordable unit, as a placeholder to get, somebody else to. I don't know if that's the answer to it or not, but rather than the town buying it for, the higher amount, giving itself back the money. I think it was buying it, the 152A, and then trying its best to get somebody else selling it to the Housing Trust, selling it to, or giving it to the Housing Authority, whatever it might be.
If it was sold to the Housing Trust, you'd still have to turn around and market it.
Yeah, because they wouldn't be able to occupy.
The town has first refusal
It
before it
does.
goes
Correct.
off the
Yes, that's
rolls.
right.
Correct.
So if the town was to purchase it, and then they turned around and said, Annie, help us
Sell
sell
it first,
this.
right.
We would affirmatively market it based on your marketing plan that you have on file.
Right.
And we would probably get a cut of the proceeds, which is specified in the deed, for the monitoring agents.
But had the town done it, it would have solved all of these problems.
Yes.
And I guess one of my concerns was, when the town is given this option, who makes that decision? Is it the town manager's office?
Yes, the town manager does.
We have money.
And yet, the newly created Falmouth Affordable Housing Fund says very clearly in the special legislation that it's up to the Board of Selectmen to use that money. So I don't know where the town manager could buy it if they wanted to, because they don't have a line item in the budget. I sat through town meeting as well, and there isn't a line item.
Everything that I've done since I've got here on 40Bs has gone through town manager or assistant town manager. And then I get it.
This was never on the selectmen's agenda.
Do we not have a community preservation budget for affordable housing?
Yes, there could have been.
It could have been addressed.
Yeah.
Right there, they have
It could have.
a lot of money.
They have to notify the town selectmen is who had to be notified by CHAPA because they are the municipality that is identified in all the documents. It's not identifying the town manager.
Right, and
It's
they
the
actually,
selectmen.
and the Board of Selectmen was notified on April 15, 2011.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask you
Yes.
a question, just to clarify? What's to stop people that are already in these units, now that they're changing the requirements, will this not set a precedent that
Yes.
people that already are
That's
there
the-
can sell it?
That is the big problem, that is why we're here now and being part of this, because there's several units in there that are affordable. We don't want this to continue.
It's going to change the whole scope of how this is done.
Theoretically, if you lose one,
You lose all of them.
in terms of people who need the housing, potentially they all could
Well, I
go,
mean, it's a
but they're
Pandora's
so-called
box.
on the list, and therefore, the price is capped, you don't get your fees, it's a disaster for
Well,
everybody.
and you allowed a higher density development
For
on a
no
pretense
affordability.
that,
Yeah,
and
that's
didn't
right.
get anything for it.
Absolutely.
So, thank you very much, Maura. I think what I'm trying to get at is, I wanted to get a sense of the board. Obviously, we're going to continue to follow all of the breadcrumbs on this particular project that Mr. Foreman has called,
Hopefully I'll be informed of what
that Mr. Foreman has
they're going
called
to do.
scandalous, and I would agree.
Multiple times.
And I would agree. Yeah, hold on
But
a
I
second.
think the board
And-
needs to think about how they want to.
And that's the next
condition
step.
things in the
We need
future.
to be
Any
so
way we can
better.
do, and how things come to us,
That's right.
so that we are informed from the monitoring agent, not second or third hand, because there's things that I didn't even see. One thing Annie gave me, I didn't see, and it was, what, 2 years old?
And by the
And
way,
it to
Maura,
the
thank you for
selectmen.
sharing with us the correspondence. And if you wouldn't mind to keep us informed, because at least we as a body are trying to look at it. So if you wouldn't mind continuing to keep Sari informed, she will make sure that we are as well, okay? Tricia?
I think this board has to put something in writing to the town manager and the Board of Selectmen about this issue.
I agree.
Here we are sitting here, night after night, we have applicants, we have Annie, we have Addie, we have
Well,
this
40B
association.
comes to us.
Exactly. This is crazy that,
Right.
and granted, it's not in that special permit, but this has to be brought out, and
Somebody's got to stand up.
an email just can't be sent to the town manager or the assistant town manager. This has to be brought to the forefront. It's not fair to anybody that this is happening.
And I think Ken also said it, that, again, we allowed for increased density, as the law says we must,
Right.
but it almost seems like under false pretenses.
It's a total
Oh,
farce.
absolutely.
I was told
A scandalous.
that they thought
There you go.
keeping it
You
as
can
an
quote me.
affordable unit was a better thing for the
I
town
wish
of
I'd thought of
Falmouth.
it myself.
And quite frankly, I don't see how it is.
I'll send you my fee.
So, and that was told by the town manager's office.
one night the
I
enterprise
understand
is
what
bad.
they're saying, but
When you're also thinking about performance, you should check out how many units have been lost,
yes,
because that's why they're suddenly getting interested,
right.
because Hack has lost a number of units,
I mean statewide, how many units?
No, I mean in
think
Falmouth.
Annie's talking
In
about
Falmouth.
Falmouth.
Who has those numbers?
Do you have them, Annie?
No. I have anecdotal evidence. I could probably poke around and get them.
No, we're not asking you to do that. I mean, you mentioned that, so.
Well, so let's put it this way.
Because Annie is also a potential monitoring agent for
So I'd have a
this
I have a
town.
bias.
They're obviously out there and
Yeah, if you
attainable,
can
right?
document
It's very attainable.
Yes, I mean, so one thing you could do, if you chose to, is you could go onto our website and go to our email archive, because since we got our e-blasts up and running, have been listing all units in the town, and we're actually we have a grant from the fund to advertise rentals and home ownerships for anybody and everybody in Falmouth. So we're gonna,
Regardless of whether you're the monitoring
no,
agent.
yeah, just because it's the right thing to do, and nobody else is doing it.
Do you think DHCD maintains those that are created and those that are lost?
The DHCDs,
Isn't accurate.
it's never accurate.
So.
Once it gets permitted, it
What do you think
counts.
is the most accurate source of that information? The town manager's office?
I would, maybe, but I think you could probably go right to the source. I would send an email to your monitoring agents, or, a certified letter on behalf of this board and ask them, you know, how many, have you lost any units in town? If so, how many and when?
Right. It seems like there are times that we ask for things and we get no answers, so it's interesting.
You know what? I think we could request that
Thank you, Annie.
the assessor's office come up with all of the units that have been assessed as affordable.
Mhm.
It's a very easy request that can be done because we have to assess them as affordable according to the permit.
And see if it compares with
Yeah.
this.
And we can
Yeah.
look at the list, and we certainly can take that signal that's on each one of the records that that department has and cross-reference into the most recent
Now,
sale
you're looking
price.
just at 40Bs and 40As that are affordable
Right.
through THCD.
A good,
Anything this board,
and I think we need to think about this.
accessory apartment.
not
I
accessory,
think it's a good place to look. It won't necessarily capture this unit as an example, because it still would be,
hasn't transferred yet.
well, even if it did, it would still be at the 152.8, even though a non-eligible person owns it.
True.
So.
But it would tell us what sold so
Well,
that
this
we
sale
could
hasn't
look
gone
at
through
it.
yet.
No, Maura, Mark, I hate to do that to you because, but we're on television, hopefully.
I did have a quick question about technically.
Sure.
If this sale goes through, if the town manager approves it, because that's the last step they're waiting for. They're waiting for the town manager's office to approve the sale. If that goes through, would the association have to come to this board and ask for a modification of their comprehensive permit? Because their comprehensive permit does not permit this new deed rider. That is not part of the comprehensive permit, this new deed rider that they're proposing.
You heard my comment, and I haven't heard from the rest of the board yet, that my feeling was, and I actually had to put it in bold to make sure that I said it, was that, in my opinion, it would be a modification of the comprehensive permit.
Prior to its selling.
Prior to
Right,
its selling.
prior to its
And would
selling.
have to come here. Now, as you know, just because that's a requirement to modify, whether it be a special permit or comprehensive permit, doesn't always happen. However, there is an appeal process, and you know that. So, I know it's unfortunate that would have to happen. And I don't know what the appeal process is on a 40B, because we've never been here. I don't think it comes back to us. I think you got to go to Superior Court. Because typically on a special permit, as you know, you could go to the building commissioner and then appeal the building commissioner's opinion. I'm not sure that happens in a 40B, because we've never been here, and I'd have to do the research, but I assume you'll do that research too. But the quick answer is, in my opinion, and I think the board's sort of agreeing with that, that anything minor or substantial, and I would consider this to be substantial.
Substantial.
But even minor. We didn't reserve the right for people to make decisions on their own. They have to come back for minimally administrative approval. You may have been here earlier this evening when we extended a project for an additional 2 years. We did that administratively. It was minor in many ways. But this goes to the core of what we do, and it's a change of a major legal document that obviously has implications on the folks that are living there. So
Yes.
I think it requires a modification.
Werner Lowy or Peter
Freeman.
Freeman, thank you, could probably answer that, and their emails are available on the HAC site, the housing.
One of the things I would suggest is this board, it's talking about we're talking about communicating to the town manager. I think one of the things this board can communicate to the town manager is that it's our opinion that if they are inclined to sign that deed rider, it requires a modification of the comprehensive permit. And I think you already have indicated that to the town manager.
Yeah,
But wouldn't the condo association be the one responsible to request for that?
I'm sorry.
Wouldn't it be our responsibility as a condo association to request that change to the comprehensive permit? It
You
wouldn't be
could
the
if you want,
town's.
but since it's already come to our information, I think, we are supposedly one town. It would be
Yes.
worthwhile for this board to communicate with the other arm of the town that seems to be considering signing this, that they can't do it without a modification of the
No,
comprehensive
correct,
permit.
I understand that. My
Right.
question is, who would ask for the modification? It would be the association, because it's part of their master deed?
Actually, I
It'd
think
have to be the
the monitoring agent, I see.
So they would have to ask for it, okay?
They're the ones who want to put this in place.
Because I'm saying we would not ask for it. We don't want that deed right
At that point,
changed.
that if it does come into a modification, that's when you
Right.
guys.
Well, it's also an interesting legal question, because I don't know if the monitoring agent has the legal authority to ask for a modification of the comprehensive permit. It's a challenge for you, really, because who has standing to ask for that? I think you may be right. It may be,
You approved the monitoring agent, you signed off on the regulatory agreement.
but they don't own the permit. The condo association does.
Matt, what holds them to not selling it before that happens, though?
I'm sorry, I was listening.
Because we wouldn't sign off, we wouldn't ask for it to be changed.
Right.
Right.
So
But you could
therefore,
bring
no,
it to the attention of this board that you're concerned that this would trigger,
which I think she basically has.
Yes.
I'm just saying in writing.
Yeah.
You know, I have another question, and I'm not an attorney, but does this not create a title problem for the buyer and their lender?
Well,
It does, and I've brought that up to both of the attorneys for the
Yes.
buyer and the seller.
So the buyer is aware of that too?
No, I
That
get
it's in violation of the comprehensive permit, that's what I've
Okay.
brought up to, at least the seller's attorney.
Right. And-
Understands that, I don't know if the buyer's attorney.
And the sad part is all of this has been put in motion, and I hate to see a potential buyer get caught up with all of this, and that's part of my introductory comments, that there seems to be everyone going off in multiple directions here, and then, everyone feels sorry for the poor buyer at the tail end of it, but that doesn't cut it, I think,
I'm
anymore.
sorry, if you know you're not eligible.
Yes.
Right. Wait. Scott's been trying to say something, and I really can't hear everybody.
I just want to ask, did I not hear correctly that if the assistant town manager signs off on this, this is a done deal anyway?
It's before the town manager to sign. He's waiting for town council's advice on that. And that's why
Where
we're
is our point
suggesting
to
that.
interject our opinion? I
I've
mean, if
been,
we're not
I've been
given that
told once they
opportunity.
sign off on it, that the buyer would come back and go to
We're going to
purchase the
interject our
property.
opinion.
And then
Okay.
tomorrow, the association would have to take action.
Good.
And we've kind of put everyone on notice, that's what we're going to do.
Okay.
If this gets approved all the way through and they start moving towards the actual purchase of the property and have a closing date and ask for a condominium 6D certificate from us, then we'll move forward with appropriate action against it.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
Thank you.
Annie? Annie? Thank you.
So if one scenario, Matt, was that it would go to Superior Court, and so who's going to be responsible for those significant legal fees?
Unfortunately,
The association?
This is the American rule of law, unfortunately, if you file the case, you pay for those legal fees.
Okay.
That's the unfortunate part. It's not, we don't have a civil rights claim here. We don't
Yeah.
have a statute that says, at least my review of 40B, doesn't say anyone's entitled to legal fees. So that's the very unfortunate part.
And so
It's important to contact the Housing Appeals
I was just
Committee.
gonna say, I think right. I think they have a lot of power on this.
has happened
I don't know
before.
if it
Yeah.
goes to them, but.
Might be appealed to
Maura,
them.
did you hear that suggestion? And I'm sure you have, that, perhaps, I kind of imagine that the Housing Appeals Committee, the big hack compared to the little hack, has not dealt with this before, and there may be some guidance, I don't know. But I think there are some very intriguing legal issues in this, obviously. There are some very intriguing comprehensive permit issues that also make me think, there may be some things regarding the regulations that aren't adequate either, because the regulations do have that limited marketing period, and I just don't see a whole lot of things being sold within a 90-day marketing period, even if it can be extended for 60 days. So it's
I think that's worth us following through on to see
Yeah.
how long we can extend that, and maybe.
And if we can
should
extend by agreement with the applicant.
Right.
Because that'd be interesting up front to say, hey, the regulation says 90 days, but if we agree to 180 days, you all set with that while we're asking you for the permit?
And are they notifying the town at the start of marketing or after the 90 days?
In
when it's-
this particular case, they did notify the town, in my quick view of it, properly, on April 15, 2011, saying the time period would start on April 20th and would end on July 20th for the town to exercise their option. And there was no communication back from the town to that letter at all.
I understood they
Okay, if we're going to be talking about Dillingham specifically, I don't want to do it, okay? But thank you. I think you hear what we're trying to accomplish, all right?
We have to live with it, by the way.
I'm sorry?
We have to live with it.
You don't think we're
No,
concerned
he
about
said they have to live with
issues?
it. He wants.
He does.
Right.
I'm just
So
saying.
what do you need, a motion to
No.
put
No,
some, just a little
I just
discussion?
wanted to make you aware of it. I think
Okay, but we're gonna, with some kind of formal
Follow it up.
written response.
there will be a formal written response. I think I've got a pretty good feeling for where you're going. It's not dissimilar to where Suri and I are headed. The
Is that an
scandalous
ASAP response?
farce was a good
Oh, that's not bad.
combination of terms.
Well, we have some better words than that, but you might not like it.
If we don't take this on, shame on us. I mean,
Well, that's why I brought it to you.
Taking it on.
Okay, so, all right. Thank you, Eddie, thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Maura, thank you. Danny, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have one last item on the agenda, and that is to discuss agenda items for upcoming meetings. And what I would like to put on, because we have a meeting next week, the 19th.
I don't want to put anything on.
Okay, and Suri doesn't want to put anything on next week.
Because we don't know if it's going to be continued, remember?
Right, I do remember. And it may be a situation that we have only one hearing next week that had been continued from several months ago. It
Which
may
is-
be
Remind me what that is?
Zell?
Walled.
Walled.
Oh, goodness.
And which comes down to an interesting situation that in order to continue it, we need to have a quorum, but I may be asking those of you who might be able to help me make a 4-member quorum for 5 minutes to be able to continue it.
Yeah.
In that case, we won't do anything on the agenda. But for future agenda, I didn't want you to think that I have neglected
Are you
or
not here?
forgotten. No, I'm here. The issue of following up to the joint meeting with the selectmen. I just wanted to wait till after town meeting was over with, and just as a quick follow-up, and we'll put it on the agenda again, Suri and I are attempting to meet with Julian Suso to get some preliminary discussions. Then I'll do a follow-up to the Board of Selectmen with here's what we're wanting to accomplish and how we're trying to do it. Okay?
So I missed the
Somebody-
issue next week. We're low
Next
on members.
week, at the moment, we have only one application that it appears that they will ask for a continuation. If they do, in order for us to continue, I need to have a quorum to vote to continue it.
Can
So,
we just vote it now?
no, because it was continued to a date
Can
and
we
time.
vote it telecommunication? What did they vote Monday night?
No, they chose not
I should
to.
have asked
It's fine.
Attorney Ahmet, who was here tonight, and my mind is
Yeah,
not my
we-
own right now.
Well, I'm not sure what my,
I'll be here.
sorry.
I'll be here too.
All I can do is ask people to see if they can show up for 5 minutes.
6:30, done.
Yep,
Me too. No problem.
yep, that's
It
it.
is.
There was no test-
school- It's school
Yeah,
vacation.
I
no
think it was
testimony
that.
was taken on this case, it was simply opened and continued.
Yeah.
In order to continue it again, we have to have a quorum, and if the board didn't want to continue it, it would have to either deny it or approve it, because otherwise, it could be a constructive grant.
But it may go forward. It may have been, I didn't see it on last week's.
They were trying to move the lot lines or
I
something.
think they have to make a decision,
It's got to go
so
before the
Yeah.
planning
it
board
may be
first.
next Tuesday, I don't know. I'll
Okay,
ask.
so, did you have your hand raised, David, or somebody? And I'm sorry
I'm good.
that my dyslexia is keeping me from being on top of everything. All right, so thank you for bearing with me on a very long, probably a longer open meeting agenda than it was for our hearings.
It was.
Yeah.
Good one, though.
So, okay,
Before you adjourn?
Yep.
Guess what? We have a zoning
enforcement agent.
enforcement agent starting next week.
Next Tuesday.
Excellent.
And she's going to be hot on the trail.
We don't
I-
know how much,
You're saying she's hot?
you know, Eladio, she is.
No, just on the trail.
Yes, yes. She's a sweetheart.
Eladio, she's very important.
Very, very, very.
Eladio may not give her full reins during her
Well, I see
training
how you do it.
period.
Yeah, but that's okay.
So that's something that, you know, I'll have
One
to
of
go
our
still
members
give
said
him
on television.
things and let him decide.
I would never pin you on.
She's a
Okay.
very smart lady.
Excellent. All right, so we'll follow with people for cats. Okay, thank you all very much. Nothing more to come before this meeting. I will adjourn it.